We are beginning this morning with a story. And so I'd like to invite our storytellers to come forward and join us on the chancel. Unfortunately, one of our planned storytellers doesn't feel well today, and so filling in for Skylar is Grant, and I'm so appreciative. And Myrtle, we're going to tell the story on the chancel and have everybody else stay in their seats. Would you like to sit right in the front row so you can see best? Over here? What do you think? I promise you'll be able to see well, though. Yes. And here's Riley for our story. Ready? Spring had passed. So had summer. Freddie, the leaf, had grown large. His midsection was wide and strong, and his 5 extensions were firm and pointed. He had first appeared in spring as a small sprout on a rather large branch near the top of a tall tree. Freddie was surrounded by hundreds of other leaves just like himself, or so it seemed. Soon he discovered that no 2 leaves were alike, even though they were on the same tree. All these leaves had grown up together. They had learned to dance in the spring breezes, bask lazily in the summer sun, and wash off in the cooling rains. But it was Daniela who was Freddie's best friend. She was the largest leaf on the limb and seemed to have been there before anyone else. It appeared to Freddie that Daniela was also the wisest among them.
Do you know that we are all part of a tree? The tree is tall and strong, and we are attached to its branches to give it the food it needs from the sun.
How does the tree stay up?
Our tree has strong roots, which are hidden in the ground below.
Daniela also explained about the sun, the moon, the stars, and the seasons. Freddie learned much about being a leaf from Daniela. Freddie loved being a leaf. He loved his branch, his light leafy friends, his place high in the sky, the wind that jostled him about, the sun rays that warmed him, the moon that covered him with soft white shadows. Summer had been especially nice. The long, hot days felt good, and the warm nights were peaceful and dreamy. There were many people in the park that summer. They often came and sat under Freddie's tree.
It is good to give shade to the people when they are hot, isn't it? Giving shade is part of our purpose as leaves.
What's a purpose?
A purpose is a reason for being. To make things more pleasant for others is a reason for being. To make shade for old people who come to escape the heat of their homes is a reason for being. To provide a cool place for children to come and play. These are all reasons for being.
I especially like the old people. They sit so quietly on the cool grass and hardly even move. They talk in whispers of times past. The children are fun, too, even though they sometimes tear holes in the bark of the tree or break a small branch. Still, it is fun to watch them move so fast and laugh so much.
Freddie's summer soon passed. It vanished on an October morning, a lot like this one. He had never felt it so cold. All the leaves shivered with cold. They were coated with a thin layer of white, which quickly melted and left them dew-drenched and sparkling in the morning sun. Again, it was Daniela who explained.
All of you have just experienced your first frost. The cold nights are a sign that it is fall. Winter will come soon.
Almost at once, the whole tree, in fact, the whole park, was transformed into a blaze of color. There was hardly a green leaf left. Some leaves turned deep orange or purple or dark red. Daniela was a bright yellow. Freddie was red and brown. How beautiful they all looked. Freddie and his friends had made their tree a rainbow.
Why did we turn different colors when we are on the same tree?
Each of us is different. We have had different experiences. We have faced the sun differently. We have cast shade differently. Why should we not have our different colors? In this wonderful season called fall, we have each come to find our full expression of ourselves.
One day, a very strange thing happened. The same breezes that in the past had made them dance began to push and pull at their stems, almost as if they were angry. This caused some of the leaves to be torn from their branches and swept up into the wind, tossed about and dropped softly to the ground. All the leaves became frightened.
This is what happens in fall. It's time for leaves to change their home. Some people call it to die.
Will we all die?
Yes, everything dies, no matter how big or small, how weak or strong. We first do our job. We experience the sun and the moon, the wind and the rain. We learn to dance and to laugh. Then we die.
I won't die, will you, Daniela?
Yes, when it's my time.
When is that?
No one knows for sure.
Freddie noticed that the other leaves continued to fall. He thought it must be their time. He saw that some of the leaves lashed back at the wind before they fell. Others simply let go and dropped quietly. Soon the tree was almost bare.
I'm afraid to die. I don't know what's down there.
We all fear what we don't know, Freddie. It's natural. Yet, you were not afraid when summer became fall. They were natural changes. Why should you be afraid of the season of death?
Does the tree die too?
Someday, though it lives through many, many more seasons than we do. But there is something stronger than the tree. It is life. That lasts forever, and we are all part of life.
Where will we go when we die?
No one knows for sure. That's the great mystery.
Will we return in the spring?
We may not, but life will.
Then what has been the reason for all of this? Why were we here at all if only to have to fall and die?
It's been about the sun and the moon. It's been about happy times together. It's been about the shade and the old people and the children. It's been about colors in fall. It's been about seasons. Isn't that enough?
That afternoon, in the golden light of dusk, Daniela let go. She fell effortlessly. She seemed to smile peacefully as she fell.
Goodbye for now, Freddie.
Freddie was all alone, the only leaf on his branch. The first snow fell the following morning. It was soft, white, and gentle, but it was bitter cold. Freddie found himself losing his color, becoming brittle. At dawn, the wind came that took Freddie from his branch. It didn't hurt at all. He felt himself float quietly, gently, and softly downward. As he fell, he saw the whole tree for the first time. How strong and firm it was. He was sure that it would live for a long time, and he knew that he had been part of its life, and that made him proud. Freddie did not know that spring would follow winter and that the snow would melt into water. He did not know that what appeared to be his useless, dried self would join with the water and serve to make the tree even stronger. Most of all, he did not know that there, asleep in the tree and the ground, were already plans for new leaves in the spring. Thank you to Riley and Grant for our story. Just as Freddie the leaf reminds us of the life around us, the leaves we see through the windows of our sanctuary remind us of the life we hold inside and our connection to life everywhere. I invite you now to take a breath, to close your eyes if you'd like, or to open them wide up and look at the leaves. To feel in this moment, in this space, in your home, the spirit of life that connects us all.
Fuente de amor, ven hacia mí y al corazón, cántale de compasión, sopla la mar, sube en la mar, hasta moldear la justicia de la vida. Arráigame, libérame, fuente de amor, ven a mí, ven a mí. Spirit of life, come unto me, sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion, blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
In the fall of 2016, shortly before Thanksgiving, I lost my oldest son to suicide. Stop. That is not what this story is about. We have lives that are filled with loss, with grief, and gosh, hopefully, acceptance and recovery. What I want to offer you this morning is a little story called The Scar. It's about a little boy, his father, and his grandmother, and how they move through the loss, the grief, and towards recovery when the little boy's mother passes away. I offer you The Scar by Charlotte Monlick. Mom died this morning. Well, it wasn't really this morning. Dad said she died during the night, but I was sleeping in the night, so for me, it was this morning. Yesterday, my mom was still alive. She lay in her bed, and she smiled at me a little bit, and her eyes were wet, but she told me her body couldn't carry her anymore, and that she was going away forever. I told her that she could come back after she went there and she rested, and that I would wait for her. She said she wished that could happen, but it wasn't possible. Her smile got smaller, and her eyes got a little bit wetter, and that made me mad. And I shouted that if it was going to be like that, I wasn't going to be her son anymore. She shouldn't have a kid if she was going to leave before he was all grown up and ready for the world. My mom laughed a little bit then, and I cried a little bit because the grown-ups kept telling me what death was, and I knew my mom was going to die. When I woke up this morning, it was so quiet. I couldn't smell coffee. I didn't hear the radio. And I came downstairs, and my dad said, "Is that you, honey?" Well, I thought that was a silly question. Nobody was in the house except me, my mom, and him, and he knew that. My mom was too sick to get out of bed anymore, and Dad was asking this silly question, and I was the only one in the house. So I said, no, it's not me coming down the stairs. And I laughed. I thought I was pretty funny. But my dad wasn't laughing, and his eyes were wet, and he smiled a small smile, and he said, it's over. And I pretended I didn't know what he meant. So he said, she's gone forever. And I was mad again. I knew she wasn't gone. She was dead, and I would never see her again. Because, the grown-ups, they all told me what would happen, that she would die, and they would put her in a box and put her in the ground, and one day she would turn into dust. I know very well that dying means you're never going to come back. I looked at my dad and I yelled at him, good riddance. Good riddance, she's gone. I couldn't believe she left us. Because, how is Dad going to know how to make my toast exactly the way I like it, with the zigzag of honey? And how is he going to know to cut the bread in half? And I was sure that my mom didn't teach him how. She hadn't told him all the special toast things, and now it was too late. My dad isn't going to be able to manage without her. Well, it's lucky I'm still here, and I can explain everything to Dad. So I said to him, don't worry, Dad, I'll take care of you. And then I cried a little, because I didn't really know how to take care of a dad who's been abandoned like this. I could tell that my dad had been crying again. There was a lot of Dad crying. He looked a little bit like a washcloth, all crumpled up and wet. I don't really like seeing my dad cry. Well, now Mom has been gone for several nights. I don't want to sleep anymore. I have a little bit of a stomach ache, and I'm not taking care of Dad very well. But mostly I'm trying not to forget what Mom smells like. But it's fading. So I've closed all the windows so the smell won't get out. And Dad is yelling at me because it's summer and it's too damn hot, and he wants the windows open, and he doesn't know how to talk to me anymore, and I don't want him to open the window, so I cry some more. I think it hurts my dad to look at me. He says I have my mom's eyes. I can't explain to him that the windows are closed so I can keep on breathing in Mom, because as soon as I say the word Mom, he cries. It's not just Mom's smell that's fading. I feel like I can barely remember the sound of her voice. So I do this. I plug my ears, and I cover my eyes, and I shut my mouth, but I keep my nose open because people have to breathe, right? I'm trying to keep that smell and her sound here with me. All my life, whenever I hurt myself, my mom would say to me, it's just a scratch, little man. You're too strong for anything to really hurt you. And I would close my eyes, and she would open her arms to me, and the pain would just disappear like that. Then yesterday I fell while I was running in the garden, and I got this big scrape on my knee, and that wasn't much fun, but I heard her. I heard my mother's voice, you're okay, little man. So something good came out of my getting hurt, and I waited just a little while. I waited a couple days, and when a scab had finally formed, I scratched it, and I bled a little bit, and it opened up again, and I hurt myself, but I didn't cry. I wanted to hear my mom's voice again. I told myself that as long as there was a little bit of blood, that as long as there was a scab, I could still hear her, and she would be here, and I'd be less sad. And then this morning, another grown-up showed up. My grandma showed up. She's my mom's mom, and I'm worried because I have to take care of 2 grown-ups, and that's just a lot of grown-ups for me to have to take care of, and adults are sad, and on top of that, I got to keep my eye on that scab because it's changing. At first, Grandma, she doesn't move very much. It's like she's in our house searching for something or someone. She can't sit still. And the last straw is when she just walks up and opens all the windows wide. It's too hot in this house. We're all going to suffocate, she says, as she opens one window after another, and lets in the fresh air, and it's too much for me. And I shout, and I cry, And I screamed, "No, don't open the windows because she'll disappear for good. Mom's going to disappear for good." And I fall on the floor, and then I roll over to the couch, and I really cry. And the tears flow without stopping, and there's nothing I can do. And then I'm really tired. In the morning, I'm afraid Grandma will think I'm a little bit crazy. But no, she does this. She comes close, and she puts her hand in my hand, and then she puts both hands on my heart. She's right there. She's in your heart. She's not going anywhere. I feel better after Grandma tells me that, because she's older than I am, and she's my mom's mom, and so she's an adult, so she should know these things. I'm so afraid of forgetting Mom completely that once I know she's in my heart, whenever I can, I just go outside and I run. And I run until my muscles hurt and it hurts my chest to breathe, and then I feel my mom beating right there when my heart beats in my chest. Pretty soon, Dad knew how to make that toast. Grandma showed him. He made the honey zigzag, and he cut it just right, but he forgot to take the crust off. He's not really good at it, but I don't say anything because I have to encourage him if I want him to make progress. A couple days ago, Grandma went home, and when I woke up this morning, I smelled coffee, and I heard a voice on the radio, and I knew it was going to be an okay day. "It's me," I shout from the top of the stairs. And I go downstairs. And it is a good day. There he is, not so much like a wet washcloth, smiling. And my dad opens his arms, and I throw myself into them. That night in bed, I brush my knee with the tip of my finger, and it's all smooth. It's all new. I kick back the covers and I look, and I see the scab is gone. Instead, it's a scar. I have a new scar, and it became a scar without me noticing. And for a second, I think I might cry, but I don't, because I hear her. It's a scratch. You're okay. You're strong. Nothing will hurt you. I was really fortunate that in the fall of 2016, somebody gave me this book. So it's like a handbook. We suffer loss and grief, and then we accept and we recover. We all have scars. We also all have people there ready and willing to help us until the scar forms. We are blessed with music in this congregation. Between the choir and the handbells, pretty much Sunday's like heaven. This is the point in our service when we take an offering. We are grateful that you support UUCA every single day. In particular, in this month of October, we're sharing the plate with the UUCA Social Justice Projects Fund. Your gifts will be used to support the small social justice activities or pilot programs that our congregation undertakes. Sometimes we charter a bus to go to a rally. Sometimes we buy a cake for National Coming Out Day. This year in particular, we're starting a new program. We're going to install a little pantry right in our parking lot. We're going to help people who are hungry. It's a very simple thing, but it's important, inviting people onto our campus to get food when they need it. Today's offering will be split as usual. 70% goes directly to the Share the Plate recipient. The other 30% comes back to the congregation so we can continue to do the work of changing the world. It's simple to give. You can write a check, put Share the Plate on the memo line. You can go to our website and click that donate button, and there's several different ways you can donate directly. Or, of course, you can put your cold hard cash in the plate. The ushers will now collect an offering. Please follow their direction as the plates move back and forth. I briefly mentioned that we're starting a new project, the Little Food Pantry. What you all really need to know is we can't make that work without you. Starting next Sunday, there will be containers in our lobby for you to bring non-perishable food, canned goods, peanut butter in plastic jars, jelly in plastic jars. Nothing can have glass on it. We will need you to keep the pantry full. So starting next Sunday, please bring things to put in our little pantry. Will the ushers please bring the offering forward? We give here of our time, of our talent, of our treasure. And that giving is so important to the life of this community. We are grateful that you participate in that giving. Thanks. Please join me in blessing our offering. We bless and receive these gifts, opening our hearts to true generosity. These words together. Let us be grateful when we give, be it time, talent, or treasure. Let us be grateful for our needs and the experience of vulnerability. Let us be grateful for those who share their gifts to nurture our congregation. Thank you all.
Just as we share our gifts, we share too what is most deeply in our hearts. This morning we have shared story and song, and now we invite you to share ritual together. You'll see if you start over on this side, Rev CTC is by a table where you can write the name of someone you are missing today. You can come on either side of that table and write your name on a leaf. Then if you'll bring the leaf over to Greg, who will have some helpers with him, to attach that leaf onto a wreath, a visual reminder of all who we remember today. Finally, we invite you to come here and light a candle, and then, if you choose, to ring a bell by Rachel. If you are watching from home, we invite you to share a name in the chat, and one of our helpers here, Claire, will write that name on a leaf for you, so that your loved one's name is held within our sanctuary and community. And if you are here in the sanctuary and would like help rather than coming forward, just raise your hand when it is time. Before we begin our ritual, I want to invite you into just a moment of meditation. And then Jason will share music as we share together. Take a moment, if you will. Breathe in and out. Center yourself first in this space, in this sanctuary, in your home or apartment, surrounded by the walls around you. Centered in this space and this time, I invite you then to open up your heart, to invite in someone you remember today. Bring that person into your mind's eye. See their face if you can, or hear their laugh. Perhaps you do remember their smell or the feeling of sitting near them. Welcome in all you loved about the person you remember. And welcome into that which drove you just a little up the wall. That too, we remember and miss. Welcome them in in their fullness. And with them accompanying you, I invite you to our shared ritual. In this sanctuary, we hold sacred the names written, the candles lit, the bells rung, and the lives we remember. Let us sing our love for those lives. Let us sing our comfort for each other. I invite you to rise in body and in spirit. Hymn 10:02. Comfort me.
Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul. Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul. Speak for me, speak for me, speak for me, oh my soul. Speak for me, speak for me, speak for me, oh my soul. Dance with me, dance with me, dance with me, oh my soul. Dance with me, dance with me, dance with me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul.
May this be a place, my friends, where we are comforted. May it be a place where we remember. May it be a place where we know we are not alone. May it be so. Amen.
thought wondered what they do behind the tables back there? Ever thought of trying out a bell? You have an opportunity right now. You can place, if you'd like to try it out, a hand up, talk to the rooms, feel free. Penguins. I want to watch. What I want is